Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for people who've been with us for 100 episodes and are going to be with us for 100 episodes more.
Woo! Celebrate!
Celebration. We would have to have a 100th episode during 5e month, for fuck's sake.
Yes, because we are amazing. That's the only because I got.
But 5e is not. So I like the contrast.
You know what, John?
It works. We're amazing. Shit. So yeah, it's...
Oh my God.
It balances out really.
That is not how that works, but I'm going to let you have it. Actually, no, I'm not going to let you have it. To all of our American friends, happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Yeah, to our English friends, there is no... Now, we had Mother's Day at the end of March. That's when ours is.
That's early.
It's the last Sunday of March.
It's really early. When do you guys get your moms? None of the flowers are blooming by then.
I don't know. We'll just whatever. We don't necessarily... It doesn't have to be flowers, Atlas.
I know, but, like, flowers are pretty. Like, flowers.
Okay, now. Yes, flowers.
So weird. And then when I am basic bitch about certain things, I am so basic. I love flowers.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate flowers. Sam
says the plant lady. Exactly.
I don't see the fucking point in them. I appreciate them.
I'll be honest. I would much rather get a plant than a flower, because the plant's gonna last longer. You put it in the ground, yay. But I mean, a girl likes some flowers. So,
yes, I know. I've already had this conversation many times with my partner, but I'm currently winning that argument because I stumped her by saying, if I get you flowers now, how do you know it's legitimate, or if I've done it to shut you up?
Oh.
So now she's stopped asking me.
Well, I don't think I've ever asked for flowers. I've hinted, and the hint has been missed by a freaking mile my whole life, but I've never straight up asked for them.
Well, she doesn't watch the show, but it is our anniversary coming up at the end of next week, so I will be... Thank you. I will be getting her flowers.
Are you gonna do like a one-on-one, role play game situation, or?
She is not into this. She is like 100%. I could not have found a partner that is less interested in my hobbies than I have.
I mean, it's a thing. It's
yeah,
okay.
she's just, she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand it. She don't get me wrong. She lets me enjoy it. But yeah, I keep trying. I keep the offers there. It's like, if you ever want to try gaming, you're welcome to join me. And now you're all right.
Well, Stefan in chat wants to know, what are some of her hobbies?
She doesn't really have anything specific. She doesn't have anything that she kind of goes out of her way to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's got quite a demanding job that takes up a lot of her time. So a lot of her hobbies is probably much just recovering from the onslaught that has been the past few days at work.
That's fair. I used to have a job like that. I won't do that again. I got too much I like to do.
I'll say theatre. She does like going to the theatre, and that is one of the things we're doing for our anniversary.
Okay, yeah, Sam did call it in the chat. Her hobby is resting. Theater as in movie theater, or theater as in stage theater?
Sorry, theatre. I'm English, so we call the movie theatre the cinema, but no, as in stage theatre.
Love that. Well, I've always, stage theater is theater to me, and then I've always called like movie cinema, whatever you call it, like the movies, going to the movies.
Yeah, okay, that works. Yeah.
But everybody that I know, like recently in my adulthood, is like, "Oh, we're going to the theater." I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
stage, and they're like, "No, we're gonna go see insert movie name." I'm like, y'all gotta stop doing this to me.
But we see that in American movies where, oh yeah, we went to the theater, and it's like, no, you didn't though.
Theater.
You went to the Odeon, which is a cinema. There's nothing wrong with that, but the theater is a very different animal. But yeah, because I've always wanted to become a theater geek, but I never really had anyone to go with. So now that my partner is a massive theater geek, I'm just living my best life.
I love theater. I'm not a theater kid, mind you. I know a lot of TTRPG people are theater kids, but I actually, my senior year of college, I don't know what y'all call that, but senior year of college, the chairman of my department basically got fired. We're not going to get into why, but it left all of us art majors completely stranded, right?
And he was diddling.
He was
diddling.
He was straight up, yeah.
Anytime someone says, yeah, because my professor or my teacher got fired, is like,
So many students, but at that
Nope.
point, I was,
Nope.
and it's one situations where like
And yeah, Connell right in the chat. We do call it university.
university. Oh, okay.
We do have colleges as well, but
Mhm.
they're classed as sort of different entities
Oh,
as a university. Universities is where you get your PhDs and your masters and your bachelors and all that.
got it.
Whereas colleges
Okay.
is just higher learning.
Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. The more you know, you learn something new every day on the show. But yeah, anyways, the point is our entire senior year of classes and credits got dropped. And I'm like, I'm paying a lot of money to go here. Y'all better give me some classes. And they gave us like 5 different professors to pick from. And name dropping, Johann Godwald is amazing. If anybody in the world ever has an opportunity to work with this man, do it. He did the like theater stage design of the department there, and I just took some of his classes so that I'd at least be paying for something. So my entire senior year was lighting and stage design and stage theory, and it was so good. It was so good and yummy, but I was never like on the stage acting. No. I was behind it making it look pretty.
Nah, I mean, I've always been interested in the theatre. I've always wanted to go to the theatre, but
yeah,
because I didn't really have anyone to go with,
go by yourself.
I never really, because I'd never been before, there was always that apprehension. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing or what the best seats are going to be.
Fair, yeah.
But whereas my partner is huge into theatre, her and her daughter, I'm now enjoying that. So next Saturday we're off to see Hadestown, which apparently is phenomenal.
It's so good. It's so good.
Okay, everybody, people who aren't seeing this or are listening to the podcast, Atlas basically just climaxed.
You will understand why when you watch that show. It is so good.
If you did miss it, it's going to be a clip.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I'm guessing.
It's really good. So
I'm
good.
guessing you liked Hadestown then.
It's so good.
Apparently it's phenomenal.
So good. It's so good. Anyways, what did you do in gaming this week other than
absolutely nothing?
No.
Nah, I was doing a late shift on Monday, so we couldn't do Winter's game. Then there was a late shift one of our players had a late shift on the Wednesday, so I just cancelled the game.
Aww.
And Thursday, just the Thursday game also kind of fell through.
You should have called us. You'd been like, yo, gaming now. And us in the chalice would have been like, yeah, well, depending on what time
to be honest, I had like such a long week at work previously and the long weekend.
Much?
It's money.
Dude, I get it. I get it.
It's cash money.
You gotta remember to live life, though.
I'm living life.
Work to live and live to work.
I am living life. I just didn't get a chance to game, so I'm not broken up about it.
Really life? I'm kidding.
I did do a lot of prep for like Blades in the Dark, which is an upcoming campaign I'm running, and I've been going through Deep Cuts, which is a sort of a rules extension that John Harper brought out.
Oh.
Where it slightly alters the Blades in the Dark rule set.
Interesting.
And I'm just trying to decide whether to go with that or to go with original, and so I'm toying with that. But yeah, everything's getting set up on Notion. And I am going to be running Blades in the Dark is all going to be in one world. Because I've got multiple crews now. Because I've got the new one that's going to be starting up on a one Sunday a month thing, but I've also got another couple of crews, so everybody is going to have an impact on the same world. Okay. So yeah, I'm just currently setting that up.
I love that. It's funny now that you've mentioned it. I've been doing a lot of game prep this week. Everyone knows, or anyone who's been listening for a while knows that we had 3 GMs at our table. And so we had 3 games that we would rotate through, but it was like, it's Connell's home table, right? So he's kind of like Captain GM. We'll call him the captain, right? So like, it would be Connell's game, this other game, Connell's game, my game, Connell's game, this other game, right? And that was fine. But then when the other game dropped, I threw my game off so hard. Remember I talked about how I had to revamp it, had to whatever.
Yeah.
And we were going to go Connell, me. And it got to the point where I was like, the players aren't remembering stuff. They're not, and like, they just can't. And that's not on them. Like, it's been 2 weeks since we've played my game, So we're going to go back to every other, which is new for me. I've never GM'd that much, which I know sounds weird, but My last session I ran was really, really fucking awesome because honestly, not much happened. It was a very role play heavy game, but what we actually talked about this a couple weeks ago is aha moments, right? It wasn't about the game like, oh, the aha of the hobby, but all of my players got together and they were in a situation where things didn't work out the way they wanted it to. They were chasing down a cult that's related to one of the players. The cult wasn't there. Oh shit, they're marching against the King's Valley and they're like basically racing against time to try and get there first. And they do. They get there in the night and they find some people actually like running from the city. The players actually to this day, like they hadn't put together the plot. Like each player, I try to give each player a gemstone basically of like, hey, here's a little thing here and there to make your character super special and tie into the plot. But also in doing that, if a player doesn't give that information or they don't realize that's information that connects, it never gets connected.
Yeah.
Well, last game, suddenly all these pieces started falling together, and one player was like, "Oh, so like this and this happened. Oh yeah, well the genocide of those peoples, like yeah, it was through tunnels." And one of the newer character players, it was really funny because I watched the light switch because one character's going, "My people did that. Oh no," and another player was like, "Oh no, they're headed in the city." And you could see it all over the new player's face. He goes like, "Oh, my people are like tunnel. It was my people. Like y'all killed my people."
No, I mean that's.
It was fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And it does kind of tie into one of the questions that Connell posted, I think a couple of days ago, where it was like, what about character secrets?
Yeah, and that's like, man, that's one of those give and takes. Like, I think character secrets can be really, really good or really, really bad. I think we have touched base on this slightly about like how the GM and how the player plays it. But it was fun watching that come out and people be like, oh shit, it's all connected. So now like the entire plot's out, the entire mystery solved. Now they're basically gonna break into the city and try to assassinate these two like head figures like to stop a war. I'm like, okay, well,
yeah, I mean my answer to that was yes, I liked my character had to have mystery, but at the same time I'm very liberal with the information.
Exactly.
So, like, let's say Liberator, for example. Liberator, you now, I think, except for the actual specifics, you've got a good idea of what's going on. Yeah. And that's because every chance I've had, I've given you something. Only because the amount of times I've had a character where it's like, oh, yes, I've got this really cool concept and backstory and motivation and character dies. And then it's like,
or the game
fuck.
ends. Yeah.
I can't tell this story now.
That, but I've also seen people reply to Connell's question in the past to a similar question, and I've seen players at my table do this where they get angry. They're like, well, my secret hasn't been brought out yet. And like, then bring it out. Like, it's not our job to tell your story. Like, what are you doing? That's always a weird thing for me.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I have played in that where it's like, no, I've got this secret that once they know it's going to blow their fucking minds.
Right, I get that.
But unless you're pushing that, people don't give a fuck. That's the problem. People you at a table, you're expecting everybody to be kind of going, I wonder what's going on with that character, when unless you're the one kind of feeding,
right,
people are just gonna kind of go, oh well, nothing, and move on. So you're kind of there with this amazing fucking character backstory reveal, kind of going, well, shit.
Yeah, we have a game tonight where I'm playing my warlock, right? And she's got all sorts of secrets and dark stuff going on. But literally every second she gets, she's literally running to the party being like, guys, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. Like, I think this just happened. Like, it's not the CW where it's like, I have the secret, the bad guy talked to me. She's like, y'all, I think I'm losing my mind. Because she's just straight up real reaction of like, there's only one secret she keeps to herself. But that's because it's very, very dark. And like, as a player, I don't even know how, like, put myself in her shoes, role play. I have no idea how to bring up that topic. Like, in real life, it's a dark topic. And I'm like, let's not. We're just gonna, that'll just be for her character development. And we're gonna bypass it.
One thing I am doing, which I've never really done before, is my character in Winter's Game has a massive secret.
And that's it's your not android,
automaton, yeah.
That word.
He's got a massive secret in the fact that he is an automaton. But what I'm doing now is I've got the other players in on it. So the secret isn't with the rest of the table, it's with everybody else in the world. So, and it's not a very well kept secret either. So I'll be walking around kind of going, yes, because I am a human man, sort of thing. And you've got the other characters going, oh, dude, shut up.
That is
Just
fantastic.
Stop talking.
Oh
now.
my God, I love that. I love that so much. I love that aspect of, I tried that actually. I tried to have like, when my character got her powers, like, she's been very resistant to her powers. And she very much so tried to do this whole like, okay, I'm telling you guys because you're my best friends from childhood. Please don't tell anybody. But one of our characters slash players doesn't understand like how to lie and always plays characters that's like, I don't know how to lie. I'm like, you literally have your own secrets in game. You know how to lie. So we stopped telling him, both in character and out, because we're like, you're not there. Just you don't know. But he's self-proclaimed as not being able to keep secrets. So he doesn't take any hard feelings from it. It's just kind of like, nope.
I mean, I have had players which have a problem with the whole you're not there thing. Like, yeah, but it's like, shut the fuck up. You're not there.
Oh yeah.
And obviously when I'm a bit more direct, it's like, shut up, you're not there.
No, keep we are quiet. Too. That's like a love language at our table. We'll be chit-chatting, and even I've done it. I've been like, wait, you can't do that. I'm like, you're not fucking there. I'm like, sorry. I love our table. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, a love language at my table is a constant stream of abuse from me.
That sounds about right. That does
not I think that's the price you pay for being one of my friends, to be fair.
Yeah. But I've been doing a lot of game prep, and I'm also world building for a possible Supers game I'm going to be running.
I did see something in the chat that Connell posted.
Did he?
About a new Supers game. A5E Supers game.
Yeah. Yeah, we're co-creating. Let's say that.
So the question is, because obviously Connell is a big proponent of Mutants and Masterminds, which is a D20 system, so why not do it in Mutants and Masterminds?
We haven't decided yet. We might be doing Mutants and Masterminds, but there's supposed to be some new systems coming out this year. And it's really up to timing on when my game ends and when those systems come out. Because if my game ends before those systems come out and all I have is Mutants and Masterminds, I'll probably use it just because familiarity. I actually have, he let me borrow one of his books and I've just been like reading like a textbook trying to learn combat because that's my weakest point as a GM. Not that I can't run a good combat, but it's that my like understanding effects, for example, is hard for me. I know that's super silly, but like
no, I mean everybody's got a weak sort of weak areas.
And I don't like. It's not that I don't understand like frost versus heat. That makes sense to me. But then there's like I'll be playing in some masterminds, and there's these things where it's kind of like I'm trying to even think of an example, but there's certain power types that are like weak to other power types. And I don't understand it because it's not simple like elements. Elements I understand. It'll be like, oh, force attack versus psychic, and I'm like, to me that's the same thing. I don't.
Yeah.
But I might do Mutants Masterminds because it's pretty easy to pick up. It's pretty easy to learn. I don't know what all he's decided on yet. It's timing.
He's looking at Year Zero. Year Zero is a phenomenal system.
Yes. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I mean, anything that Free League do is just golden. It is so good.
Then they did Coriolis.
Really well thought out. Really, they did Coriolis. They did.
I want to play that so bad.
I've played Vesson. Yeah? It does play. It does. I'm trying to think how to best describe it.
I've heard it's very detective-y.
Very detective-y. I wouldn't say I'd compare it to Delta Green because you don't necessarily have the sanity mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Is a horror. It is of Nordic folklore, which I think is fantastic because it's not something you tend to see in the media as much.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'll have to run that at some point. That'd be fun. Just show up Saturday. Surprise, we're running game. Here we go.
I created a twisted fucking character for that.
What'd you make?
So part of the mechanics, and this is me remembering this as well, so I've only played it once, but I think part of the mechanics is you need to come up with something that you're ashamed of for your character, and a reason that you are able to see these Vesson, which are the sort of supernatural entities from Scandinavia sort of thing. And so I created a physician. He was a doctor, but he was a doctor with a drug problem.
Shit.
His partner his colleague and partner found that out.
Whoops.
So my character killed him.
Okay.
And it was in that he was awakened to this person. So not only was I playing this character that had this really deep dark secret, I in character was constantly going off to the bathroom. I was like, yes, I need to go.
That's fantastic.
What did I call him? Something Dolph Lundgren or something his name was. But yeah, it was just, yes, I need to go to the bathroom now. And I'd run off.
My gosh, that's funny. That's great.
That was a secret that never came out.
Okay.
Because we had one session in it.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had secrets that didn't come out. I'm pretty good at just like, oh my gosh.
She found one, ladies and gentlemen.
And it was good. It was so good.
She found a secret.
We played Fading Suns, and Fading Suns is like, it's so good. It's space opera-y. So you have your fantasy, you have your sci-fi, but it's also like kind of Games of Thronesy with like the houses and the lords and stuff. And very, very long story short, there's psychics in it, but it's not like, oh, I'm psychic power. It's like, oh, they're going to kill me if they find out. Like the church will hunt you down. So my character got psychic powers from her mom, right? But nobody knew her mom had them. That was on the down low. And her mom passed before like her psychic powers developed. I went the whole game. Using my psychic powers, but doing it in a way that none of the other characters or players caught on.
That's good.
And it was so much fun because there were moments like an NPC died off early in the game, and it was the lover to one of the players, a brother to the rest of them. So like it was a felt like like a heartstring moment, right? I used my psychic powers to make people think it was his ghost helping out like his lover in the past, in the future, and all these things. So like I was able to play it off, and then at the very, very, very last episode, the father figure passed. It's been years. My character went off to space with her space Viking husband, ambassador guy, and came back with a daughter. And that's how it was revealed in the game, is that my daughter was like, oh hey, she did basically this like psychic reveal to my brother in game, her uncle. And it was that like moment. It was so good. So the secret did come out, but it was the very, very last episode on the closeout. It was good. It was so good.
It sounds good. I mean, these things do it kind of give the table a richer experience.
Yeah.
But they have to kind of come out in order to do that.
Exactly.
Because if not, if you're playing Cloak and Dagger, yes, it's going to entertain you for a tiny bit, but that won't last long.
Yeah. And like I said, it has to be done well. If I had just been like, oh, I have these powers, I never use them, people can't know, I don't think the reveal would have been as good. But since everybody was thinking that it was like, oh, it's my mother's ghost helping. Oh no, it's my brother's ghost helping. Oh no, it's all these like, yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. That was a good one. But I've been speaking of families, I've been doing a project that I did not expect to do.
Okay.
My current game that I'm playing in has a lot of weird elements of, we're all orphans raised in basically like think Neverland, Peter Pan, Rivermill type thing. Long story short, two of the players have actually found out they're related. They're cousins. And so I didn't know this going into the game. They didn't know this going into the game. So I have done art of both players and both characters. And I have now taken it upon myself, because the parents of one player we've met, we've met those NPCs. The other ones we haven't, but they're cousins, right? So I've actually taken those two characters, and I'm artistically drawing out their parents to try and make this puzzle fit together of how they are related and look alike and stuff. It's so much fun. Like, I love making art for games. I need to
and feet pics, and
I haven't done any more feet pics.
That's terrible.
That's not true. I have 3. I will admit
She's
I have
into
3.
it.
I'm not into it. I'm just debating if I want to pursue that. Like,
she's definitely into it.
And if I ever do, no one's gonna know, because it's gonna be under a different name and a different system and everything.
A nom de plume. So what? So should we come up with a nom de plume for Atlas?
No, I already have one.
Should we come up with a nom de plume, Footy McGee or something like that?
Footy McGee, that's a good one. I mean, that chair's so squeaky. Do you hear that? That's horrible.
It does sound squeaky, yes.
Cheers.
Feet. There's something feet. There's going to be feet in that pen name.
Feet B. Instead of Phoebe, Feet B.
Feet B?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think we're on to something.
All right, but anyways, so what is your next game coming up? Like you said, you didn't do anything this week. Do you have anything you're looking forward to?
Okay, so tomorrow, so next week we're starting tomorrow with Winter's Game, getting back into that. So really looking forward to it. And also Wednesday we're going into Back to Fabula. It's been a couple of weeks since we've played that. And then the Thursday game, I'm away Thursday because I'm starting my anniversary weekend. But yeah, so I've got the two games, which I'm really looking forward to.
By the way, leave it to chat. Defeating boredom and victory or defeat. I love that.
I like it.
That's pretty fantastic.
That is awesome. So I mean, it sounds like the chat are quite creative, and they come up with some quite cool concepts or potentially like homebrew things, which does lead us into your question of the week.
Okay, you reading them or am I reading them?
I'll let you read them.
You let me read it. Well,
I'll let you read them because it's always entertaining.
All right, yeah, because I butcher it and I say the wrong thing. Okay, here we go.
Hence why it's entertaining.
Good segue. So yes, homebrew and creativity and wonderful. So I asked, what is everyone's favorite 5e aid or homebrew item? It can be something that they use at the table. It can be something every campaign, even 3D printed objects. Because for me, homebrew is not necessarily just like, oh, look at this thing in my brain that I created, but also like, oh, I have like this at table thing. So I have, let's see, 3? No, I have 2. You have 1 for me though.
Yeah, I got 1 from Blue Sky.
Okay, so from Threads, Nady Danger. He's got 2, which were free to use, by the way. Thank you, Nady, ahead of time. Sir Stuffy. I'm here for it already.
All right.
A teddy bear with a sword and shield that can be set up in your camp and acts as an alarm spell. If he spots anything, he races out to defend the party, has 1 HP, can be fixed by mending. 2, time bending pocket watch used as an action, roll a d20. 1 through 5 casts slow on you, 6 through 12 nothing happens, 13 through 20 casts haste on you, gnomish invention.
I like that. I like both of those actually.
Both of those are good. Not only are they good, like they're creative, but they're like, I'd use that. They're useful. It's not like, oh, here's this homebrew item that I'll never use again. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I definitely like that. I think at a table or this, like when I've run the more fantasy kind of things, I think Sir Stuffy would become the mascot quite quickly.
Absolutely.
And anything happened, he would be a driving force for the entirety of the campaign. If he ever died, it'd be like, that's it, we're getting vengeance on Sir Stuffy. What was it that
people did with Walking Dead? If Norman dies or if somebody dies, we riot. It'd be like if Stuffy dies, we riot.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's it.
If Stuffy dies, we riot. And then Corey Painter, a dear friend Corey. Corey is becoming a regular fan of the show, and we love him. Okay, this one's a long one. Follow with me. I'm going to try not to talk too fast. So Shard Tabletop has a lot of free options, and he did all of it free. Also, I'm going to put the bottom of his answer at the top. He does say that it's not an ad. He just does a lot of specific stuff that does the trick. Okay. So he said it has a ton of homebrew options to create items and monsters. It's locked into 5e. 3rd season of his campaign, he said, I made open world and looked everywhere for something like their map creation. The first image is our main continent. Each pin leads to a map of that city. Each could have multiple maps into houses or something, and around the edges are spots for travel that goes to a ship map. He has pins for random ship encounters or all the locations there. He included another continent, and from there, the first map for Kraken's Tooth. It is a multi-level tower where a pin can take you up or down. He included sub 1 floor that shows it's flooded. You can go underwater to another floor where there is a shark encounter and special loot. You can basically map search like Google Images on the fly for players. For our 3rd season, I created an event or story for... Did I already read that? Nope. Okay. I created an event or story for every single pin on the big maps. There are about 4 more similar big maps. I was able to say, you start here, here's some things you heard about, what do you want to do? I was really hoping to play test my game I'm making on here, but it's so locked into 5e, I can't. It bums me out because it has a ton of function and customization otherwise. I think they maybe just released compatibility for Blades in the Dark, though. So, I think I'm always hesitant with game aids, because for me, it's kind of like, if it borders too close to being a board game, then I'm kind of like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but for me, it's like, but this sounds interesting. I like the reference of like Google Maps, but for your characters. I dig that.
I mean, I don't know much about Shard Tabletop. I've been interested in it. I've never really looked into it, but I'm kind of very much down the Foundry rabbit hole, as it were.
Yeah.
So for me, kind of migrating to something else is a bit different. But I can completely get Corey doing this because I've done it for Foundry, where it's like, you know, you add on all these modules where it's like Monk's active tile triggers, where you can click a part on the map and it'll create an action which opens another map, which will open a journal entry. And I've played around with that massively.
Right.
It was just a shame that he did all this work and he wasn't able to use it. However, if Shard is adding support for Blades in the Dark, there is a Blades in the Dark pirate game, which sounds like this could really link to.
Pirates.
So, yeah, I've actually checked it out because I am looking into running more Forged in the Dark games. But yeah, so, you know, Corey may want to look into that because it could apply and he could potentially use it. As for game aids and whatnot, when it comes to virtual tabletops, I'm very much on the fence because yes, there is a place for it. You can set up a map with your encounters and everything that makes it really, really easy and straightforward. But at the same time, I find that players begin to rely on it too much. To the point where I'm playing Pathfinder with people who play Pathfinder at a table. And the moment Foundry doesn't respond by adding the +2, it confuses them.
Yeah.
They rely so much on this game aid that their brains somehow stop working.
Yeah.
And I constantly have to remind them, it's like, what the fuck do you do at a table? You haven't got Foundry. You roll a dice and you add your bonus and then you add 2. Just do that. We're playing the same fucking game here. And it really, really bugs me. And they've mentioned Hero Lab Classic.
Yeah.
I know Hero Lab is used for Mutants and Masterminds. It's one of the systems it supports. But I know Hero Lab through Pathfinder First Edition.
I think they do Savage Worlds too, actually.
I know they do Shadowrun. I know Shadowrun's one of them. I'll have to check. But anyway, I know it for Pathfinder First Edition. That's the license I've got. And it got to the point, especially in Pathfinder First Edition, that without Hero Lab, that game becomes unplayable.
Oh, wow.
Because you get, hit level 15, 16, you've got so many bonuses. I mean, our ranger in the party in our first game, he was rolling stupid amounts of attacks. And then to calculate all the damage without Hero Lab, it would become impossible.
Yeah.
So I feel that then it becomes a failure of the game, not necessarily a failure of the game aid. The game aid is there to help, but
well, we have one more Blue Sky one, don't we? Do you have it? Do I have it? Who has it?
Yes, I've got one from Blue Sky, and it is Fear Cohen's has a propensity for, I can't remember the full name of it, so I do apologize, but Fear Cohen's, just Fear Cohen's. I was going to say all the things I steal from other games, but no. In my last 5e campaign before COVID, I had no rangers, but the group kept adopting stray animals. So enter the party feature. Everyone gets to use the Ranger Beastmaster subclass abilities to control the party's dire wolf companion. But transferring command to one PC to another was an action. Add a woos to taste. I think that's brilliant. I think that is a really cool solution. Not necessarily even solution to a problem, but it is a cool addition.
Gosh, yeah.
To something your party's doing. If your party's getting animal companions, there's nothing worse than turning around kind of going, yeah, you can do fuck all with them.
Yeah, well, because think about it realistically. Let's say you're living in a house or a party full of people that have a bunch of animals. Like, you learn things about the animals. They have personalities, and man, I may have to use that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So thanks.
That's pretty great.
Thanks, Cohen's.
Thanks, Cohen's. That might be my favorite takeaway for the day.
Yeah, I like this one. I do enjoy this one. So Connor in the chat as part, he's got a D&D question for you, for us.
Okay.
When it comes to the branches of D&D, which would be like 5e, Pathfinder included, Tales of the Valiant, etc. Which do you prefer and why?
Okay, mine's easy. Level Up. I'm playing it right now. I feel like I've said it on the show before. The why is pretty simple for me. Level Up takes the basic D&D 5e rules and not only expounds on them so you can, we've talked about this. I love storytelling. And I feel like the ways you can customize your character and level up is far more beneficial to storytelling than just like, I take this because I can smash things and do all the damage and numbers with it. It's very much so like, there's this thing that's so cool and useful. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it, but it makes sense for my character. So I love that ability. I love the maneuvers. The maneuvers in Level Up are amazing because it is, again, like if your character has been doing certain things with their shield nonstop, or one of my favorite ones that I took, one of my maneuvers was basically I was a leader in a party and I could basically give up my turn and be like, no, you're closer. You go do something. But like stuff like, I love stuff like that where it's kind of like in character, in party, in story changes and whatnot. But I that's me. It's because it's a little bit. It's like it's the basic whatever, but then it's a little bit more in depth so that you get more options. And it's not just a straight up copy. So
I mean, Connell has added with A5E does it for me, disconnecting skills from certain abilities. I mean, if that's a thing in A5E, I 100% agree with it because one of my frustrations about these games is, so, you know, to do athletics, it has to be strength.
No, and that's what I love is it does separate it, but also you can get specialties. So for example, like I can have a specialty in something that like you can have that skill, you have specialty in that skill, but certain, I guess, feats you can take. For example, I don't have religion. That's not a skill that I have, but I have a shit ton of wisdom and I have the ability to roll my wisdom for my religion. And so it's stuff like I said, you can just kind of customize how you pull and where you pull. It's good. It's fun. If you don't like detail, you probably would hate it.
I mean, to answer Connell's question, and in terms of branches of D&D, this is quite far away branch. This is like a leaf on the edge of the branch because the company itself distanced it like recently, purposefully distanced itself from D&D, and that is Pathfinder 2e.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I got into the hobby because of Pathfinder, but I could have quite easily just have gotten into the hobby through 5e. Pathfinder was on offer, I took it, and that's it, really. So I could have gone a completely different way. So I'm not going to say Pathfinder in general, but Pathfinder 2e. The reason I think it is my favorite and the reason why I dislike it are the same.
Interesting.
And that is because they tightened, they saw what they'd done with Pathfinder, they saw what Wizards had done with 5e, and they completely tore the system apart and rebuilt it from the ground up. 5e still has the same problems it had when it first came out, even with the 2024 issue. The CR system being a prime example, it is still a broken system, which they have not addressed. Paizo did. Paizo went, right, this isn't working. We need to get rid of this, and we need to rebuild it from the ground up. So the whole traits mechanic in it, I think, is genius. I think, you know, everything you do, whether it's a feat, an item, a skill, an action, everything has a trait attached to it, and all traits behave the same way.
Okay.
So you don't need to have a look at specifics. You need to go, okay, so this particular spell, for example, has the incapacitation trait. Incapacitation works like this. So they have simultaneously expanded the rules by making it modular, but they've reduced the amount of things you need to remember.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, you need to remember the traits. You don't need to remember the specifics. So you need to remember, okay, so this spell has the holy trait. Anything holy has an effect on undead or, you know, that sort of thing. And I think that is probably one of the biggest things that they did, which I kind of applaud. The reason I dislike it is because with everything having a rule, it takes away from GM interpretation. Because if you do make a ruling, especially one that's not in favor of the players, then you become a shit GM. Because, you know, anything that the players dislike is, oh, that's a bad GM sort of thing. But it takes away from that because you have to kind of go, okay, so the rule says now this happens. Mm-hmm. That is the reason I dislike Pathfinder, because they've tightened it up so much that, the GM may as well not it may as well be a GM-less system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said that last week too.
Because at the end of the day, you are just reading. The book says this, so I guess this happens. Nah, fuck it.
My players have learned that they can't even do that with me because like there may be a rule in the book and they'll be like, well, technically it says this. What are you going to call on it? Because sometimes I'm in favor of like, yeah, no, we'll go with steady rules. And then in other areas, like if it makes so much more sense for a story and they roll well, I'll be like, I'm going to let you have it. Like, I'm not going to be an asshole.
I mean, again, that works, especially in Pathfinder, that works when it's in favor of the players.
Yeah. Like I said,
when it's against the players,
not for my table. It's been so much fun. Tell you what, the only thing that our table has not been able to pull off is a sack of snacks. And I'm going to bring it up every week until I get my sack of snacks.
You're the GM. Just put it into your world.
It's not for my game. It's not for my game. It's for Connell's game. He will
Connell,
let me have a sack of snacks.
Connell, don't let her have the sack of snacks.
What?
Don't.
You just flipped. Come on.
No. If it's in your game, do whatever the fuck you want.
Curly has arrived, everybody.
Hey, Curly.
Here. Welcome.
We were doing a Mutants and Masterminds thing last week with Curly, so we can, we can kind of pick that back up, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't do anything for Juan's junk this week because I figured we'd talk about the 100th. We'd talk about the 100th.
Yeah, let's put some 100 episodes. Like,
it's been 100 fucking episodes. 100,
well, not for me, but I think I'm almost up to a year now.
Maybe. Been 100 for me.
Yeah.
I think actually there was one episode that when Justin was on, I was there for, but I was not able to actually be live on because I was dying at the time.
No.
So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks everyone for coming along and celebrating with us. We're doing nothing for it, so yay! It's an arbitrary number, but it is still a big arbitrary number, which we're gonna be here 100 more and 200 more.
And you know what? At the 200 mark, there will be a bedazzled pink Spider-Man suit involved.
Just putting it out now. I'll believe that when I see it. Because ever since I've known you, that's been a thing.
It has been a thing, but I've never been like, I've always been like, oh, if we reach $30, oh, if we do this and this and this. I'm putting a 200 episode stamp on it. We're still here at 200 episodes.
We're still going to be here.
I will show up in a
We are still going to be here in 200.
It'll be great.
In 100 episodes time. I've always said I don't do this for people. I do this for us.
Sorry, I just had. I don't know if anyone watching just saw my eyes cut off to the side because I just had like a really bad flashback to when I cosplayed as She-Hulk. So much spandex. So I'm saying like, yeah, I'll show up in a Spider-Man suit, and I'm going, oh no.
Yeah, but you've said it now.
I did say it.
Connell posted that he expected a random Justin. I did reach out to Justin. Unfortunately, he had something he had to take care of and he wasn't able to make it. But I did want to surprise everyone with a random Justin because it was the 100th episode. But unfortunately, it was quite short notice. He wasn't able to make it. So.
And you know what? That's okay. We love him. We miss him. But honestly, thank you to our viewers and our listeners because we really appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. One of our reviews actually was really, really heartwarming. Someone referred to us as like come hang out with the show because it's like talking in a room with your friends about TTRPGs.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that is the best review I've ever heard. And for me, like that's what it is. Like we get to hang out with you guys and talk about gaming because we all love it. Like
that's what I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy talking about this hobby.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't have you and our listeners to talk to, I'd be like chewing somebody else's ear off. So you guys are doing my partner a favor. because I get to talk about my favorite hobby. Gaming. Exactly. So because I get to talk about this with you guys once a week, then I don't have to just annoy her by going, then they rolled sound and then it's and she's and she'd be there just going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Today is Mother's Day, so I do have to give a shout out to my mom. I was kayaking with my mother one time because I come from a very athletic family, and we're kayaking. We have separate kayaks, and we're kayaking down the river, and we're having fun, and we're working up a sweat. And my mom slows down, and she pulls up her oars, her paddles, what do you want to call them for a second? And this is back when I had I don't want to say I first started role playing, but it was early on in my days, right? And she realized this was not just a fleeting, like, oh, it's just a phase, mom, that I was actually like really into this. And I was spending a lot of time investing in my friends and their games. And my dad and some of our friends like took off down the river. It's just me and my mom. And my mom's like, "Hey, hold up a minute." I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "So like, I asked you when you chose your whatever." And she goes, "So tell me more about this D&D thing, this role playing thing you do." And I explained it to her, and she goes, "Okay, but why?" My mom legit, like, we took so much time on that river. We locked our kayaks together, and I tried so hard to explain, like, tabletop role playing to her. I spent probably 15, 20 minutes trying to explain to her what it was. And it was the same thing. I was excited and like, "Oh yeah, because when this happened and you rolled this and you can act it out and role play it." And then sometimes the GM will explain it in further detail and have NPCs. And you could see her glaze over. She had no clue what I was talking about, but she was still super supportive. It was like the German the golden retriever thing. Like, yeah, huh?
I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
wow.
I wondered where you were going with the German thing. It was
Well,
like,
I mean, we are German, but she probably did the German Shepherd tilt thing.
but my mum. I've tried to explain it, but it doesn't land. And her response was, "As long as it's not gambling." I went, "No, it isn't."
My dad could
That's
never
it.
get it.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's not gambling, then they're
No.
happy. So I go to my friends once a week and we play games and we sit around a table and
Yeah.
and
They
that's it.
they have the one thing that finally got my dad to understand it, because he would pretend like he understood it, and then like the following week or month he'd be like, "Wait, what do you do? There's no cart what?" My mom had him watch Stranger Things, and I guess in watching Stranger Things and he watched the kids do it, at some point she was like, That's what she does. That's what she does." And suddenly it clicked with them. I was like, "Okay, that's fair, I
So,
guess."
while we're on that, I was thinking about this the other day. Is there a, because obviously we've seen tabletop role, but mainly D&D because it's
Yeah.
the most widely known.
Yeah.
We've seen it represented in various
Yeah.
sort of pop culture
Mm-hmm.
sort of phenomenons. What's your least favorite representation of it?
Mm.
Because I've got one, and it just
You go first.
really fucking irks me.
You go first, because I'm gonna have to think about that.
Big Bang Theory.
Oh my god, I hate that show. Sorry. I know I probably just pissed off a lot of our viewers and listeners.
Personally, I don't mind the show itself.
I hate the show.
I mean, I know people get offended by it, but I really don't give a shit about that. But yeah, the depiction of D&D in that show is like, you have no fucking idea of what this game represents. It's just,
I won't
it's
even
really
dive
annoying.
into that. I won't even dive into that. I know. I don't know if I have one. I know Connell's is actually not a example of the game, but an example of the player. He hated Eddie from Stranger Things. He very, very much so hated it. I don't know if he just put that in the chat or not, but yeah, it was he's like, "That's that dude, like it's such a stereotype and blah blah blah, and like can't stand those people." So like he went off on Eddie. I love Eddie personally. That's because I like deep dove into like the character lore of Eddie, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know, because I'm trying to think of all the media I've seen it in, and I'm like, okay, Stranger Things, like,
Curly just said the IT crowd. I remember them doing it. I just can't remember the
oh,
actual.
I've never seen that. I don't know.
Yeah, so the community did a good one, but the episode has been pulled. I don't know if it's back yet, though. There was an episode where they did Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
and it's not the best representation of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
They don't quite get it right, but they pulled the episode because one of the characters cosplays as a drow, which is problematic to say the least.
Oh no. Yeah, no.
But even like people from the show, and even like people in our community or in the BIPOC community are there going, but it's not racism. But anyway, that's beside the.
I guess just made a quote from the It crowd. Jen,
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, that sex thing, Maz, far from it, Jen.
And by the way, just point of order, it's the IT crowd.
What did I say?
It crowd.
Oh, It crowd. I read things the way I read it, and then something just comes out.
So Atlas is an embodiment of Jen from the IT crowd.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I have a least favorite representation. I really don't, because again, like I had a very sheltered childhood, very and I heard about it from like my writing. Like I had writing role play partners. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to go play D&D." I'm like, "Cool. What is that?" Because I grew up with like the satanic panic, like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember, and it was weird because I remember there was because I was living out in Spain at the time, and there was a version of the Satanic Panic, but it was later. But that is essentially Spain, and Spain's culture has always been, or Spain's popular culture has always been a bit behind. So I just remember it from the 90s of these like unsolved mystery sort of shows where it's going, and they were playing a role-playing game, and then they killed their friend and all this crap. But yeah, it was never really a thing for me. I knew it existed. I didn't really, it didn't really register until I was drunk. So if my alcoholism can be thanked for one thing, it's the fact that it got me into this hobby. Don't get me wrong, that's the only thing, that's the only positive my drinking problem ever had. It was the fact that because I was absolutely fucking hammered, I agreed to play Pathfinder, which I immediately regretted the following morning when I woke up to a message from Scott going, here's the core rulebook, and I went, fuck.
Meanwhile, I'm over here begging anybody literally to like GM for me my first time. Anybody that mentioned it, it's like, oh, do you GM? Oh no, I don't GM. I just play. It's like, oh, okay.
Curly in the chat has put, thanks, alcoholism.
Thanks, alcoholism.
I just want to make it very clear and just my position. I'm not in favor of alcoholism. No. I've been sober for 3+ years, and it's going to fucking stay that way. Yep. So if you need help, reach out, but you may end up with a hobby. Jesus. And that's what's going to get us.
That is. I don't remember why I don't drink anymore, but I don't. It wasn't like
thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so yeah, I just woke up. It was like, the whole stereotype of waking up with in bed. It was I woke up with a core rule book on top of my arm.
Sam just reminded me why I don't drink anymore in the chat. Sam's been around a long time, viewers and listeners. My dear friend Sammy. She has shit on me.
That's why we keep her around.
That's why we keep her around. I first moved to New York, and they had a harvest festival here, and it was like a Saturday morning. I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. It's not like a hard stance. It's not like a moral stance. I just don't really want to. Like, it's not a driving force. For me, I can have so much fun without it. It's never like in the back of my mind of, I need a drink to relax. Like, I take a bath for that. But anyway, so the what did I just say? Harvest Festival. They had wine slushies, which I'd never heard of before. And I'm like, okay, I'll try one. Like, I'm not going to get like drunk off that. I'm not going to drink it. I'm just going to have a wine slushie. I'm going to taste it, see how it goes. And I had my stream. I had to do an art stream. And that's just a hangout stream. But at the time I did an art stream on Saturday evenings, right? So I had wine slushie in the morning and I had art stream later. There's this thing when you drink alcohol through a straw.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So I downed that slushie and it tasted so good. And I forgot that it was wine slushie. It didn't register. So I get on stream and I had a headache and I didn't feel good. And I was talking about like, this wine slushie, and Stefan was in the chat too. He's like, oh, wow, that's been a really strong one, for you still be feeling it from last night. I'm like, no, I had it this morning, man. Everybody was dying laughing. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and in the Balearics where I grew up, there is a drink. There is a popular drink, and it's specifically from Menorca, which is one of the Balearic Islands.
Okay, yeah.
And they call it a pomada. And what it is a gin, which is a specific type of gin. It has to be chorigue, which is a Menorcan gin with a bitter lemon, with cast lemon. And the drink itself, it is honestly like a soft drink.
Mm-hmm.
You can have like a big measure of gin and top it up with this lemon and squeeze lemon in it. And it's like drinking a soft drink. And one of the local sort of dive bars started doing buckets of a slushy made out of this stuff. And it was one sip and I was going, this is going to be a fucking problem.
Yep.
Because, that was lethal stuff.
Yeah.
Hence... Yeah, it became a problem.
Pro sobriety. We support sobriety here.
I 100% support sobriety.
I'm not against it. If people want to have a drink, go have a drink. That's fine. But for me, I don't mess around with that anymore. Although
me either.
I have yet to create a world where there's not a tavern in it.
Yeah, I mean taverns are always a staple.
It's a staple. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have, but then again, it does fit in within the narrative because there has always been a version of that, an inn, whether they've always been called taverns or nowadays it's pubs and clubs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, it's absolutely perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Have you ever done drunk rules?
No,
Because I remember Pathfinder had rules for drinking.
I don't do drunk rolls, but I definitely make them roll for that one thing.
It was
Dex, Con, something.
In Pathfinder. I'm trying to remember this. In first edition, the rule was if a character's heavily drinking, they have to roll a fort save.
Mm-hmm.
If they succeed, they're fine.
Okay.
But then every time they roll a fort save, it gets harder and harder.
Mm-hmm.
Until they fail, and then they're poisoned.
That's okay.
They are poisoning themselves.
That's rough. I think the closest thing, no. I think it's always just memory loss or things like that. Yeah, I don't think I've rolled for how do I say this? Adequacy in the bedroom, but I don't think I've ever had to roll for like drinking damage, basically. Like, now that I think about it, that's kind of weird that he had us roll for one thing and not the other. That GM was horrible, man. Memories, my best, like, stick it to the man 5e memory. I actually talked about this on Threads the other day, was we had a horrible GM who refused to listen to the players and their boundaries. And so we finally, as players, were just like, all right, we're going to TPK ourselves. We set ourselves up to all die. And he was so upset. He's like, but if you do that, you're all going to die. And we're like, oh, I get a bummer, I guess. Yeah. So chat, what is going on with chat right now? Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, hang on. We're going to back up the gutter minded, but Curly, praise Curly, be like, yeah, Cavern Tavern, put a bar in a cave, call the Cavern Tavern. And it just went downhill real fast. Accuracy in the bedroom, nat 1, good aim. Babe, I'm over here. Wrong hole. Bedroom activities are a valid expertise in mutants and master.
We have the best chat.
We have the best chat.
We have the best chat. I mean, I tell you what we should do. I tell you what, one day we just, everybody in the chat, we should just get them on screen.
Yeah.
We should just get everybody on screen and just have. I mean, we'll make it like it won't be an episode. We'll do like a I don't know, just do a hangout because we did it once. We did it once and it was you, me, and Connell. It was just a trial.
And it will be chaos. I'm for it.
Yeah, we love chaos. We do love fucking chaos.
That's literally our hangout on Saturdays. We'll be like over on my Discord. We'll just hang out. We'll talk about life, TTRPGs, and then randomly someone will usually it's Connell, but like I've had other people be like, "Hey, can I run a game?" I'm like, "Yeah, go." And then literally in the moment, it's like, "All right, roll up. Here we go." It's so much fun.
So yeah, let me think of time. Let me think of a time where it could work, where we could just start streaming a hangout.
Yeah, we could probably host it in our Discord. The Too Legit to Create Discord.
I could just do it on Riverside.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that uses a link.
Yeah, right. Just anybody can. I put the link out. Anybody can join in, and we've got a full thing going. I think there's a limit to amount of people that can be in there. I think it limits about 8. But
first come, first serve.
Yeah. We'll set something up.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right.
That actually would be fun. First come, first serve. Here's a link. Boom. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's figure out how we're going to do that going forward. But I do believe that's pretty much all we've got time for.
Oh my gosh.
This evening. It has flown by. That's it. The 100 episodes. They are out. They're done. And now we are starting on the march to 200.
101.
So next episode is 101. I am going to be recording from a different location. Yeah, so I'm going to be recording from somewhere else. It won't be as fancy. I won't have I'll literally just have my laptop and my AirPods. So sound quality may vary. But yeah, I'm going to be recording from a different location next week, and I probably won't be able to keep an eye on the chat as much. Because I'll only have the one screen, but
fine. I'll keep All
right. And on that note, I want to thank everyone in the Dabba for joining us this evening. It's great to have you guys. It's great to interact with you guys. We love you so fucking much.
Yeah, we do.
Atlas, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Do you want to tell people whereabouts on the interwebs they can find you?
This time because my headphones are plugged in.
Yay!
Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear. I'm on everything, like TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. Like I stated earlier, I do have a Discord server. Come hang out. We're crazy in there. But yeah, no, like I talk back. So talk to me, I talk back. Isn't that a song somewhere?
I have no idea.
Anyways.
But as for me, you can find me pretty much on anywhere you can find Atlas. I'm at Natural One. I'm also like behind our Facebook group and our Instagram presence. We also have a Discord. We've got, just come in and chat to us. We've got all different topics. And if you want to support us, check out our Ko-fi page if you want to just buy us a coffee, or you can subscribe to our $3 a month tier, which will get you access to Traveler's Chalice, where we discuss more behind the scenes stuff, where we kind of pick and discuss the direction the show is going to go in, so you can actually have a part in what we do. Also, check out our merch store. We've got shit like this that everyone seems to like. Everyone who's got one seems to like. The quality of them are really good. Anything you can do helps us. And, if you share with your friends, if you subscribe to our channel, it's just incredibly helpful. It helps us grow, and you can be along for the ride for the next 100 episodes, because we love you guys. And, most importantly of all, thanks to everyone who spends time out of their busy days listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.